Found a BSA 220cc stationary engine in a sale a few months back, and only just really got round to looking at it. It looks in remarkably good order. Motor came with electric start, no clutch but a set of pulleys on it, and a electric control for the revs. Unfortunately, somebody has disconnected the linkage for that and just left me with the throttle linkage. I took the carburetor off, cleaned it just out of curiosity, and soldered up this pipe was, the solder broke from spinning, soldered that up. The carburetor was really clean. The whole thing basically looks like brand new for something that's been sitting around for what, 30, 40 years. It is in sort of remarkable order, and it doesn't look like it's been messed around. It really looks nice. One of the problems I did have with it when I first got it, I didn't have any spark, so I popped the flywheel off and cleaned the points. There's loads of contact, quality set of points. Cleaned the points, instantly got spark, but had a few other minor little problems. The original copper HT lead had been shortened, and as it rolled its way around the engine in its new short state, it had burnt on the exhaust manifold, so that had to go. So I've new piece of lead and just soldered that on there, and the HT cap that basically fell to pieces. All the guts fell out of it, so I've replaced that with something a little bit more. Well, I'm going to with something a little bit more appropriate, a bit more period looking. So hopefully that'll be the next move. So I'm going to put the mag back into place. Mag's back in now, all bolted up. New grommet in the back plate. Old one was split, gone hard, so just for safety's sake, new grommet in there. Check the wiring round. This wire in here is for the condenser, which is tucked in down the back here, and it ran over and it goes to a through bolt which is insulated, which is for your kill switch wire. So I've put a kill switch wire into it. That was chafing on the case, and it had gone through the outer insulation. We were getting spark, so I've just put a bit of shrink wrap on it and made sure it's not touching anything, just when we get it running, if there's any vibrations, that it doesn't earth out and stop the motor. Right, let's get the flywheel back on and put a bit of fuel in it and see if it starts. Right then, here we go. Jerry rigged the tank, fuel down to it, put a set of jump leads on because I'm going to have a go at starting with the starter motor. Everything else is clear. Put the choke on, bit of throttle. First time in God knows how long. How cool was that? Right, and I got to stick all the guards on and put the exhaust onto it. Cut the HT lead out to size. Once I know where the cover's on and it runs through all its clips and stuff, we'll have a go. Back together. Guards on, cover on. This casing, I know it looks appalling, but it's actually got some sort of protective coating of paint on it. Now I think that's been done afterwards, because usually these are a bright red colour. It's like, it must have been done years and years ago, because it's like oatmeal with some sort of rubber glue on it. But it must be a rust protector or some sort of early. It's a bit like a bed liner, but very crude version of a bed liner. So I think it's been put on for corrosion resistance. This thing's got no charging circuit, so it obviously was meant to go on a vehicle of some kind that had a charging circuit. I can't see, there's no brackets or anything for a dynamo on it anywhere. As I say, the starter motor's all original. It's a nice little setup. Somebody spent quite a bit of time putting it together. This bracket fits onto the other item, the item that it powers, which I'm keeping as a bit of a surprise for another day. But this motor probably runs on, well, more than probably, almost certainly runs on leaded fuel. So if I wanted to use it, I'd have to convert it to unleaded fuel. Makes no sense. Somebody would love it, so I'm going to sell it. All I wanted to try and do was get it running today, make sure it runs okay and sounds okay. One bolt, somebody chewed a bolt up. They'd fitted a fuel tank to it. This is the kind of red that they were painted from what I've seen on the internet. This tank doesn't fit. The mountings aren't right for it, so it's the tank off of probably another BSA or another small engine of that era. Somebody's cut the brackets about, mucked it about, and in doing that they haven't ruined the thread in the nut in here, but they've ruined the thread on the bolt. I'd just like to explain this throttle in a little more detail. It's obviously a solenoid, power on power off solenoid, and it just pulls the plunger in to the solenoid, which is connected to the governor arm, which would open and close the throttle if somebody hadn't taken off the little connecting linkage. It all looks original. All this came with this engine, because the plate is where I had the carburetor off. The plate is original. There's a gasket either side. All this came with it. So I've taken it to pieces to get it to, because it was in the way. But there's a stop. You arrange the stop up behind so that it opens the engine up to the RPM that you want, and then the governor would just control that as the load is on and off the engine. And then when you, whatever the original purpose for it was, when you want to turn it off, you shut it back and it would drop back down to tick over. I'm going to take this unit off because it doesn't serve any purpose on the engine as it is. So I'm going to use that unit to control my new engine that I put onto my project when I get it done. Say it works, there's nothing wrong with it. It did this job, so I can't see it won't do my job. But it's the condition of the motor. The condition of the motor is fantastic. The condition of the carburetor is amazing for the years, for its age, and that it's an old stationary engine. A lot of this sort of stuff would sit outside and just rot. with no more ado, let's hear it running. That's not too bad. I'm reasonably happy with that. So I'll stick it on eBay, or I'll stick it in the paper, and we'll get it sold. It's a model. The model actually is a model 220cc engine number on the crankcase, and it's governed speed to 2,500 RPM. Made by BSA motorcycles in Birmingham, England. It's all Whitworth, so it must be way back in the day. I'd have thought this is probably 50s, 60s. I wouldn't have thought it was much later than that. But it's in remarkable condition. It's a lovely piece, if you like that sort of thing. And I'm sure somebody will love it. And now it starts and runs. Thanks for watching, subscribing. See you again soon. Bye.